So we are live. Today we are doing the first of hopefully many live streams for Teneo. So I'm Sam Town, I'm the growth manager at Teneo Protocol. And with me today are Leroy, the CEO at Teneo, and Nico, CFO. So today we will be discussing silver ticket access for everyone to Teneo Protocol. We'll be running through some numbers for the live testnet and sharing some results. And we will be laying out some information on how the Teneo protocol will evolve over the next coming months, as well as exploring the future vision for Teneo protocol and where we are going. So let's run through some short introductions. I think let's start off with Nico. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself to the community?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Nico, a co-founder of Teneo Protocol, and super happy to be here on the live stream today with all of you guys.
And hey guys, I'm Leroy. I'm also co-founder and CEO of the company. And happy to be here.
There's a lot of demand from the community at the moment to kind of engage with the founders and learn a little bit more about the direction we're going in and what we're up to at the moment. So we prepared, a bit of a short introduction into Teneo and the testnet, silver ticket, and then a Q&A segment. So if everybody's ready, I think we should kick it off and dive into the basics of how Teneo works, what we're about, what we're doing, and why Teneo Protocol is so exciting. So one of the first things we're going to be talking about today is Teneo Protocol, where we're at, and what we do at Teneo. So probably the best way to kick it off would be, I think, Leroy or Nico, let's jump in, let's dive in. What's the core ethos behind Teneo, and what are we doing?
I think the best way to describe it is when we understand the problem that we're actually solving. Because as of now, there are basically two things that stop AI from evolving to the next level. One part is the hardware, or in other words, the processing power. So this entire issue is solved by companies like NVIDIA with their GPUs or Oracle data centers and stuff like that. And the other part is access to data. And this is actually where Teneo comes into play because, access to data is a critical issue and it has several causes. And in general, web data is currently locked. So it's either inaccessible because platforms, networks, they don't offer any interface or any access point. The other part is that accessing data is, in most cases, so expensive that only enterprises can actually afford it. And another part is that data is getting more and more fragmented. So it's across different networks, ecosystems, so you can't really use it at scale. And there is one additional issue, and this is real-time data. This is the most difficult part to access currently. And most AI products that we use on our daily basis, they run on static data, which in some instances is days, weeks, and sometimes even months old. So for example, when you use ChatGPT and you want to know, let's say, what are people discussing about the latest news on Binance? You don't get a proper answer. The information is outdated or it's so general that you can't really do anything with it. So without this data access, most AI agents are blind. And when you want to understand what's shaping the world in this very moment, you need access to that. But unfortunately, that's not the only thing that's currently wrong in the space, because there are some other aspects. One is that people that actually create this valuable data, they never benefit from it, because we the people here, we're the ones that fill the internet with life, but only some companies earn from it, and we basically get nothing in return. And the other part is also the lack of decentralization, because data processing, structuring, so all we see in the current AI space, it's completely centralized. And when you want to compete, you need sophisticated and therefore incredibly expensive infrastructure to play a part in that game. But every one of us, we have a laptop, we have a PC, so we have devices that could do this job once they're linked together. And this is what we are going to change, basically.
I mean, look, key points here is I think that data is valuable, right? And like data is made by people. But I think the key disconnect at the moment is that we have this massive industry of big data, and it's very separated from the average day-to-day user. Everybody
Right.
browses on the internet and everybody does things on the internet, but they don't have the ability to see the impact they have on big data. So what we have on screen here is a brief introduction to Teneo. I mean, on screen, you'll see an overview of Teneo protocol, which is in like very simple terms. Teneo protocol operates as a decentralized, permissionless network of browser-run AI agents, and they turn live public signals into structured intelligence. So what Teneo does is to allow anyone to run a community node, which is, in simple terms, an agent, an AI agent that runs in your own browser, that structures data in real time and then adds that data to a network that powers tools and rewards users or rewards the individual for contributing their own data to that ecosystem. So perhaps Leroy or Nico, if you'd like to jump in and explain, probably the problem we're solving here is why is structured and live public data provided by users so difficult to access today?
Yeah, maybe I can jump in here, Nico, before you give your 2 cents. But currently, and you mentioned that, Sam, is one of the biggest problems is the fragmentation of data. And this comes from because the tech giants currently are in a race to win AI, and they don't collaborate on that. They still think it's, I don't know, a winner takes it all game, for example. So it's no wonder that data on the open web is getting more and more restricted, because it was actually not too long ago where it was way easier for every builder out there to access web data on scale. But companies like Google, they don't want to share because they want it exclusively for Gemini, or X wants it for Grok, Meta for Llama, and so on. So this is true basically for every company in the space, because in their perspective, let's say the actual people, they're customers, so people that pay for their tools. And this doesn't just cut out innovation, in my opinion. It also runs counter the very principles the internet was built on, and also basically how OpenAI started. But when I come to explaining what the community node does, so the most important part is that community nodes enable users to share web signals. So let's say everybody contributes a small piece of the big data puzzle, which is in our scenario, the open web. And by putting these pieces together, we can reflect what's happening on the internet right now. So information that is currently almost impossible to reach at scale. And also from a tech perspective, this system is hyper scalable because the processing is done on a user's device. So there is no need for data centers, server farms, and stuff like that. So that means the more users, the more information, and the bigger is the value and the effect. And this makes Teneo the permissionless gateway for any AI agent, application, or model out there.
I mean, I would love to hear like full weigh in on that, but like as far as I understand, or what we're presenting so far, is that at Teneo it's possible to make it easy for anyone to contribute their own individual data and be rewarded for that on an individual per person basis. So for a big picture view, I mean, why is it important that Teneo kind of decentralizes and makes permissionless this process of data sharing?
Yeah, let me jump in here. I mean, currently, as Leo tried to explain already, the users from all the big tech players out there are the products, right? So they earn a lot by having all of those users and then distribute advertising or anything out there. But the people don't actually get anything back from that. And that's what Teneo is changing. So we give the power to the people to decide what they do with their data, with their information, so they can use the Teneo interface, and they even see the data they are gathering. They can contribute to the network. They can earn with it. So we really changed the game here, and there was not really a way for this before. And without doing it in a centralized way, you need to imagine we would need crazy amounts of hardware or huge billions of funding, because just imagine we have around 6 million people, already a little bit more than that, registered. And imagine all of those PCs are worth, let's say on average, $500. This is around 3 billion in hardware, which is connected to us. So we couldn't afford this right now. But if everyone joins forces and works together, we can achieve something really, really big.
Well, I mean,
Maybe also to add here. Oh, sorry, Samuel. Maybe to add very briefly here. Like an AI agent network like Teneo, it wouldn't be possible, as Nico already described, with a centralized approach, because we currently see all the centralized AI companies, they hit the same wall in their approach of accessing real-time information. So when we look at the market, we see, for example, X AI bought X, Anthropic and Perplexity, they're launching their own browser, or OpenAI even mentioned that they want to buy Google Chrome. I guess this was more a marketing stunt, but still, they all need this data gateway. But a gateway alone doesn't solve the scalability issues. As Nico mentioned, it's like 3 billion in hardware connected to Teneo already, and we are a startup. So the potential here, is basically is insane. And this is also, please go on.
You've mentioned already, Nico, that like we're a startup, but we're not at the point where we're discussing theory. Like this is reality at this point. If we move on, we can look at the testnet at the moment with Teneo and what's going on with the testnet. You can see on screen like the basics. We currently have a live environment where browser-based agents are running AIR tasks on public data. So at the moment with Teneo, we've moved beyond the realm of theory and into the realm of practicality. And so, we're currently giving people the choice to, move between observer or autonomous modes and contribute on a local basis or contribute and earn and share. And so there's a lot of data pushing through the Teneo testnet already. It's already a massive ecosystem. So, Nico, did you want to run us through the basics here of what the testnet is and what the data means?
Yes, sure. So you already shortly explained the modes here, like the observer mode and the autonomous mode. So as some of you know, you can switch in the community node between those nodes. So at least the ones who already activated their NFT. And that means on the observer mode, you can navigate through the web, and the agent fetches every data piece you see, but you navigate on your own. So you decide where to go, and you actively need to steer the system. And the autonomous mode is actually what changes the game. So the agent takes over the work and does the work for you. So actually you can go to bed and sleep and let the agent do the work for you and earn your points. And this is the easier way to earn a lot of points while you sleep or while you do nothing. And the observer mode is more for, let's say you want to gather data for your device on your own. So the cool thing on Teneo is that you can also switch between private and public or share and earn mode. And you can actually use the tool just for yourself. So you navigate through the web, the agent fetches all the data pieces. Then you see what you gathered in your Teneo dashboard. You can, if you want to, you can delete it, like the browser history, for example, on Google Chrome. But you can also download it and use it in your LLM tool, make any analytics, let the LLM tell you what you just saw or make any calculations out of it. And if you contribute and earn to the network, of course, you earn points. But we always give the people the choice to just use our open source product for themselves to do whatever they want, or to contribute and earn. And this is always very important for us at Teneo, that we don't force anyone to do anything. So people can always decide what to do with their data, and this is actually what we stand for. And yeah, maybe to the numbers on the right side, I think it's already 2, 3, 4 days ago as we created this numbers on the page here. So since we activated the silver ticket NFT, we grew very, very fast. So I would say the daily data signals are already 3 or 4 times higher. So we're really at close to 150, 200 million data signals per day, what's huge. So the cool thing is, with that size of the community, we can actually serve every data need out there for, say, every AI company, every company working with data. And we're resilient for every future use case out there. So the people contributing in that second right now are already enough to serve the data need for large corporates. And that's really amazing to see that how the people
I would jump in there, and I would say probably like it's important to highlight that points within the Teneo ecosystem are a very, I would say, accessible or easy to understand method of interpreting exactly how many data signals we're processing. So at the moment, the community is like very excited about points and collecting points and contributing points to the Teneo ecosystem. And I mean, one of the things that we use points for at Teneo is not just rewarding users for contributing data signals to the Teneo ecosystem, but also participating in the Teneo ecosystem. And that's something that we're doing live on stream today. So later on in this stream, we will be providing, for example, a code for users to add to their Teneo dashboard in order to gain access to additional points for viewing the live stream and getting involved, because that's what we want to do. We want to encourage users to participate in the Teneo ecosystem. But points are kind of abstract. And when we talk about things like data signals processed, and we say, well, since we've launched Testnet, we've processed 1.6 billion data signals, 40 million data signals a day. That's massive. What does that actually mean in terms of, what that means in terms of real traction for data? Nico or Leroy, please feel free to elaborate.
Yeah, so let's say at the beginning, in the first community node, you didn't have the possibility to contribute data. So this was, let's say, the test phase to get the entire system running, to get the hardware connected, as I explained before, where we are already at 3 billion approximately in hardware connected. And step by step, we went to the next evolution. So actually everything already happened in the background, but there was not really an access to that data. And in the next step, there will be an access to this data, because the people now have the decision to contribute and share their data with the ecosystem. So that will be the next evolution. From the problem, what we solve. So currently, we're only talking about the supply of that data, but of course, on the other side, there is a huge demand for that data. And now, as soon as you activated your NFT, you can click on that contribute and earn toggle, and then all those data signals can get forwarded to the demand side. And you can imagine this is terabytes of data every day. This is just amounts what are really needed to train AI, to feed any stream of any company who is working with large data sets, which is, let's say, downstream apps from AI, like who are building on top of those companies. And as I explained, this is enough to train like your own LLM. So if you're creating a new, let's say, billion dollar company out there needs a huge data set to train their LLM, they could already purchase that actually. So, and let's say if you ask ChatGPT to inform you when your favorite KOL posts something, they can't do it. But if they plug into Teneo, they can do it, because we have 6 million of people who are on the open web, and they know when this KOL posts something, and then they forwarded it Teneo and to this company. So we are really ready, almost ready. We're still in testnet, but almost ready to serve all those companies out there who are struggling to get enough data.
You actually touched on like a really important point there, I think, and that's the silver ticket and the golden ticket. So today, the Teneo testnet has been restricted, and it's been a private testnet to invited users through golden tickets, and we've had 37,000 users on the golden ticket NFT. But we've recently, in the last 2 weeks, opened up to the silver ticket, which is an open testnet for everyone. So moving on, we're looking at the silver ticket, which is replacing the golden ticket for new access. And it makes it democratic and accessible to everyone. So rather than restrict access to the testnet for Teneo to a limited amount of users, we're moving into a new ecosystem in which anybody can contribute to the Teneo ecosystem and start sharing their own insights and data from their internet browsing, whether that be through autonomous mode, collaborative mode. But we have a few quid pro quos or requirements that need to push through before that. So we have, I guess, here a slide to illustrate, or some details to illustrate what's happening with Silver Ticket and why we're opening access broadly through the Silver Ticket process. So we've seen massive engagement from the community so far. Over 170,000 Silver Tickets minted in the last week and a half, which has been massive. And would love to get some insight from you here, I think, to learn a little bit more about Silver Ticket and why I've decided to push into an open testnet rather than a closed testnet, Nico.
Yes, so we decided at the beginning what made quite a lot of sense from a technical perspective to limit access at the beginning. And this was the golden ticket, and this was mainly for people with the highest Discord roles and for super early birds. So the people who joined the earliest got access to the testnet, and we got super valuable feedback from all of them. And I think that helped a lot to improve the system, to make everything more stable, and to go to the next evolution. And it's really crazy how fast this can scale. So we experienced it at the very beginning when we launched the community nodes. So we expect to get 100,000 people in, I think, in the first last year as we launched until the end of the year. 100K was the goal, and then over 1 million connected. And then our system struggled to handle that entire load, and that's why we did it in different steps, of course, this time also. And now, since everything works, let's say, stable, everyone gets access, and this is now the time where the silver ticket comes in and everyone can actually mint it. And as soon as you have it, you have access to the entire testnet, and it's only a very little amount of transaction fee needed. I think it's a quarter of a cent in peak tokens, so actually nothing. And we give out the ticket for free. So it's the time to mint your ticket now, because it will also not be completely unlimited. So as mentioned, golden ticket was around 17, not 100% sure about the number. But if you want to get the NFT, I would mint it quite soon, because as it looks like the traction is super fast. And the threshold will be reached quite soon, in my opinion. And then at some point, the system will open. But you could see this as a open to public testing of the testnet right now.
I would say that it's probably a difficult process when you're challenging these very large, very big incumbent data players and data ecosystems within, traditional big data commerce, to kind of create an ecosystem in which anybody can contribute to a big data ecosystem and be rewarded for it for their own personal, contributions. One of the things that's a very common question from the community at the moment is, what exactly does Silver Ticket do when it changes the game for the user base of Teneo? At the moment, or previously to the Silver Ticket, we had Golden Ticket, which is limited to individuals who had already been contributing or active within the Teneo ecosystem already. But Silver Ticket is kind of a carte blanche or an opening up of the Teneo ecosystem now that it's reached a point of maturity or robustness to handle the massive amount of user interest that we've reached so far. Within the last week, I think I've already mentioned that we've reached almost 200,000 users within Testnet. And so what does Silver Ticket change for users compared to Golden Ticket?
Yeah, so let's say for everyone who still didn't mint or activate a ticket, it's the node which you connect and you earn on the heartbeats, like staying connected and giving Teneo and the network the possibility to access let's say your node, or that we have the resources with. It's what we just talked before about the $3 billion in hardware connected for us. And of course, this is super important for us to have that entire resources ready to access. And now with the Silver Ticket, it also gives the user the possibility to earn up to 10 times more in points. So before it was quite an easy connection, staying ready for jobs. And now, as soon as you really toggle that or set the toggle to contribute and earn, you can earn up to 10 times more in points, because then you actually contribute the data what you are seeing at that moment. And the people will also see this in their dashboard, is they will actually see which data signals they collected and which they contributed. And yeah, and summarized, when you activate it, you can earn up to 10 times more in points. What's of course super nice for the people to get rewarded more, but at the end it's not more complicated. So it's just one minting is needed, and then actually, as mentioned before, you can go to sleep and let the agent do the work in autonomous mode.
Well, let's push on. I'll jump into the Silver Ticket here in terms of what you need to do to gain access to the Teneo testnet, because like you said already, while the Teneo testnet is now in open access through Silver Ticket mode, it's very likely that the access to this will fill up very quickly. So we've kind of relaxed the requirements to get involved in Teneo and participate in the Teneo protocol ecosystem. So rather than have to fulfill a long series of quests and tasks and get involved and be active, we've made it very simple. So if you're interested in getting involved in the Silver Ticket process, the only thing that is relevant or required to do is to mint a Silver Ticket NFT, which is very straightforward. It's just a free soul-bound, non-transferable, one per wallet NFT. And this is my little addition here, gain consent to the marketing process, because I would love to build a cohort or a group of people who are very interested in building the future of the Teneo protocol. And that involves receiving an email every now and again on what's happening within Teneo and what we're up to. If you already have a golden ticket, you can activate that now still. That will not be wound up. So if you have a golden ticket, activate it now. If you don't have a golden ticket and you want to participate in the Teneo ecosystem, the only requirements are to jump on board, jump into the Teneo dashboard, subscribe to the newsletter, mint your Silver Ticket NFT, and you're able to start contributing and earning points based on your either autonomous or ASIC data from today. I think one of the most important things to take away from this is that participating in the Teneo ecosystem is very straightforward and simple. Teneo is designed from the ground up to reward users for their data. So if you are considering whether or not you should participate, it's a very simple and streamlined process. So jumping to teneo-protocol.ai is the most straightforward way of doing it. But as we build towards the future of the Teneo ecosystem, I think it's important to highlight some of the things that we're building in future. And so these consist of more agentic ecosystems and more AI-heavy ecosystems. So as we push into the future vision of the Teneo ecosystem, and we discuss some of the major evolution or some of the significant changes that are coming in future, I think it's important to highlight that what began with community nodes is expanding now into a broader system of AI agents and infrastructure. So community nodes are the data pipeline, but agents and the Teneo protocol agentic ecosystem will lead into new surfaces, which will provide far more opportunity to users than ever before. So I would love to, if it's possible, dive into kind of the technicalities or some of the more detail of where we're going in future to learn about what Teneo is planning on doing in the near future.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I can cover this question. So I think we already covered what the community nodes do. So basically they host sub-agents that can fetch real-time information out of the open web. But yeah, there is plenty more stuff to be rolled out actually in the near future already. So let me try to explain a bit more about that. So one part is, for example, what we call agent demos. So they are basically here to show the potential of what we call our lead agents. So lead agents are specialized agents that can execute tasks anonymously. So for example, they know where to navigate in the open web and how to get the information that you need. One of the biggest steps will be the launch of the chat room. So this is basically a user interface that allows people to communicate with these lead agents in natural language. So it includes LLMs, so you can operate it like, I don't know, ChatGPT or your preferred AI tool. And you can give lead agents tasks, ask them for information, do research, or whatever your need is. And of course, also one crucial component is for builders, more tech-savvy users, companies, and enterprises. And for that, we offer an SDK. So this SDK can be utilized to implement our lead agents directly. So that actually allows you to build applications on top of Teneo. And the last thing that is mentioned here on this slide is also I would say more of an agentic ecosystem approach for the future. And the background of this is that we as Teneo, we can't know every use case in every industry. So we are, of course, not experts in every field. And therefore, it also doesn't make sense if, for example, only Teneo is capable of launching these lead agents, because there are a lot of people out there that understand, let's say, gaming way better. And so it would only make sense if these people can actually create and deploy their own lead agent for gaming purposes. So, for example, to connect data sources from Steam and other platforms. So what I'm talking about here is actually a third-party agent deployment kit. And this will not only strengthen the entire ecosystem, because of course, the more lead agents we have, the more use cases we can cover. And this ultimately boosts the growth of the entire platform.
So we're moving from more of a passive ecosystem in which people can contribute data to more of an active ecosystem in which AI plays a far more significant role. So by establishing a new ecosystem in which lead agents and sub-agents operate in orchestration and opening up the ecosystem of Teneo to developers with an SDK, it's super interesting to the community at the moment. They really want to know more about where we're moving and what kind of things we're building. So I think one of the most important questions to the community at the moment is, what do chat rooms look like? What's being developed at the moment? What are we building? And what does that look like on the user end?
It actually looks quite similar to, let's say, your ChatGPT, because people already know how to use all the different AI models out there. So you basically have your text field and you can just type in whatever you need to know. And I think that's the very big difference when it comes to, let's say, SDKs and stuff like that, or different APIs out there that allow you currently to access a fraction of the data. But as mentioned at the beginning, it's not easy. It costs quite some money. And with this chat room approach, we basically enable every individual to use it like GPT, but you get information that ChatGPT can't answer you. Because real-time information is the crucial thing from, let's say, most of us when we're figuring out what is the next Web3 project we want to invest in, or for what ETF, or what are people discussing about this and that politician. You want to know what people are discussing in this very moment. You don't want to have old data and stuff like that. And the chat room is the perfect tool to execute that. So you communicate with the agent via an LLM, you can chat with it, but the agent knows how to fetch this information that you're interested in. It can navigate the open web by itself. It knows where to look at, what is relevant for this specific use case, and it drops the information right back to you. And not only you have it in your chat, you can basically download the information in your preferred data format. You can use it for, I don't know, when you are at Anthropic, to paste it there, to do your own intelligence out of it, or to use it in your business intelligence tools, for example. And this is basically what we offer to the community. So a tool that actually gives utility.
Yeah, imagine there are a lot of companies also in the Web3 space who are very dependent on this kind of information. Let's say there are a lot of InfoFi companies who create dashboards and reward users for mentioning specific projects. And most of them purchase the data super expensively. So they need to get informed when the things happened. So in a very easy way to explain, let's say you want to create a dashboard, or you want to start a company, and there you want to reward users when they mention you on any platform. It doesn't matter on what social network this happens. So you can just use the Teneo SDK, query that you get informed as soon as someone mentions at username. So you can use the Teneo protocol or any other project out there. And then actually all the community nodes and the sub agents in there, or let's say a specific amount of community nodes, start to monitor the open web and see when someone actually mentions that project. And then the SDK forwards you that information. And what you have then is actually somehow a platform you can sell to everyone out there. So Teneo is really the infrastructure providing the information for a lot of huge billion-dollar projects out there. I mean, not for them right now, but you can actually build exactly the same in a few days with Teneo as infrastructure. So we are not the ones who need to buy data or to somehow get all the information for our tools. We are in the background empowering all those projects out there who are currently building on that narrative and also on large data sets. So we see us not as a competitor to most of the projects out there. We see us more as an enabler for them to create super nice products much more easy and faster and more efficient, because we have that super nice community who helps us to do that. And we think that will be a real game changer, because we don't see anything like that right now out there.
I think this is probably one of the most important things to highlight, is that when the average everyday AI user goes and asks for up-to-date information on what's going on in terms of the social reach of a particular project or a particular platform, for whatever reason, when they engage with platforms like OpenAI, or they engage with platforms like ChatGPT, etc., what they're accessing is often, in many cases, siloed or older data. And when we look towards the future of the Teneo protocol and what's being built with chat rooms, is that they're accessing data that is live and up to date and based on recent contributions from users who are contributing their day-to-day activity and being rewarded for it, and establishing a massive database of information that can be accessed by chat rooms and by the SDK and the orchestration layer to create up-to-date, minute-by-minute insights on what exactly is going on. And that's massive when it comes to big data. It's very, very big, massive. because it allows people to gain minute-to-minute insights on what's going on, which is super huge. So as we move towards the future and the developments that's going on with Teneo protocol, I think it's important to keep in mind that Teneo is evolving from a position of community nodes in which people contribute data on an individual basis to a layer in which anybody can access data and gain actionable insights based on minute-to-minute data, which is a game changer within the big data ecosystem. But this does open up a number of questions from the community. So as we move towards the community question segment of this live stream, I think it's important to kind of address, I think, some of the most pertinent questions that the community has presented to us, asking perhaps what does Teneo do, or how does Teneo handle particular things? The first question, and the most commonly asked question, is what is the long-term vision for Teneo protocol over the next 5 to 10 years? Because as we move towards perhaps disrupting and redefining the way people access information and data, how do we see Teneo changing the way in which the AI and Web3 landscape is accessed and understood by people moving forwards?
I think the key word here is open source infrastructure. So, of course, Teneo will continue creating cutting edge products in AI and Web3, but our core belief is that long-term innovation comes from the community. And to facilitate that, I think it's indispensable to create infrastructure that allows everyone to contribute and to build on. So Nico also brought a few examples and maybe another one. So imagine if you want to build a travel application. So you need real-time information and different data sources to create a valuable product. And for this, for example, you can just use the SDK. And the same thing is true for trading, marketing, and tons of other use cases out there. And so basically, we are building the intersection between AI and Web3. And as mentioned, we do this with a community-driven open source approach. And this will basically establish Teneo as the go-to platform for the agentic revolution. So it's not just about rewarding people for, let's say, the data contribution. It's also about creating a platform that allows you to utilize agents by just connecting your wallet, for example. It's about delivering the toolkits that enables people and builders out there to build on top of our agents. And it's also about giving everybody the opportunity to easily create, deploy, and monetize your own agents within a few hours. So this, in our opinion, leverages the true power of Web3 by connecting the core principles with AI. And an ecosystem like that has basically an unstoppable flywheel. So this is what we think Teneo is going to look like. It's not just a tool set, a toolkit, or products out there. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, to also understand this a little bit easier, let's say you own a big data set because of any reason you got it from got it gifted from someone, let's say that, and then you want to sell this. It's super difficult right now. So how do you do that? There are weird platforms you can do that, or you can try to create an entire web shop, set up your Stripe account, connect your bank account, and host everything on your server. But what you can do then is, with a few lines of code, so this is more the midterm or long-term strategy right now, you can create an agent for that data set you have, or maybe you're still gathering in a specific way. And in a few minutes, you can start to sell that information to everyone out there. So you just need your wallet, connect to Teneo, and the infrastructure will handle the rest for you. So your wallet will automatically receive the funds as soon as someone queried information from your agent. and you don't have to care about the entire setup and the infrastructure behind it, because Teneo is handling that for you. So this will be the easiest way to sell data, information, business intelligence, whatever you have, to sell to anyone out there, to private individuals, to large corporates, whoever is interested in their data sets. And that will be, in the long term, a game changer. So that's super difficult right now to do.
Very good. Next question was, and this is a very common question from the community at large, is how does Teneo differentiate itself from similar projects? I think Grass is probably one of the biggest organizations that has a similar functionality. But what is the difference between Teneo protocol and Grass?
Yeah, maybe the short answer to that is, from a UX perspective, Teneo might feel a bit similar. So when you just operate the browser extension, but what we are building in the background, as described, is very, very different. So because we are not just another AI agent that gets specific kind of information, we are actually creating a network that makes all these other agents out there more useful. So yeah, I get it. That's from the UX and stuff like that, and from the vision, we see some projects out there that try to step into the similar market here. But I would say the long-term vision is very different that we have here at Teneo.
Yeah, I mean,
I would posit that perhaps open source information or open source infra is probably the most significant difference between Teneo protocol and other organizations. And providing open source details is probably the most important thing when it comes to people's privacy with regards to big data and sharing data.
Yes, I mean, also like a difference. I mean, Grass is amazing, of course. It's a crazy good project, and we see us in at least in a similar size or area. So we can do what they do right now, but the big difference is the open source and the transparent way. So we want to show every person out there what's happening on their device, which data sets are stored on their device, which data sets they forwarded to us. But also on the demand side, it gets much easier. So imagine you just need a super small data set worth 10 cents. So you log into the Teneo chat room, query that with either any small technical queries or even in human language, and you get forwarded the information you need for a few cents. But also a big corporate can query information worth $1 million. And since this is completely automated for us, it doesn't make any difference if it's terabytes of data or just 2 megabytes. And that's a huge difference to most other players out there who try to do something similar. At least we don't really know others where you can actually do that. And that transparent open source way to also access these data pools, that's what Teneo stands for.
I think that's super important, like being open source and providing people with information and transparency on exactly what happens with their data and how it's being used is super critical when it comes to this kind of project. So the last question that we have pushes towards what's happening with Teneo's data. Like, who is interested in the data that Teneo's users provides, and which sectors or types of users are we targeting first with the data services? So when we imagine the practical applications of the data that's generated by all of the users within the Teneo ecosystem, where is that data going and what is it being used for?
I think probably the biggest use case out there, and also the most partnerships we have, are with AI companies, because they need to keep their
Nico
model.
or Leroy, if you would love to jump in on this, would love to hear your opinions.
Can't you hear me?
I think you can start.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, perfect. So what I wanted to say is we have basically the most partnerships with AI companies, because in order for them to keep their models and agents fresh with this real-time sentiment, these real-time web signals. This is something that Teneo can deliver uniquely at this scale. But there are plenty other industries out there. So for example, in finance, we have collaborations with market makers and exchanges, because as you can imagine, they want or they need to stay ahead of trends. They need to know which project is going to perform, to what degree, what is the community actually thinking about, are there any breaking news, etc., etc. So there is a lot of money involved in this field. So this is quite important. Another part is also marketing, advertising, or let's say media in general, because here again, you need to track different trends. For example, you launch a product and you want to track a campaign. You need to analyze any breaking stories. You need to know what trend goes viral. So this is a huge sector. We see, maybe to mention one or two more, gaming is getting very, very big, because we see a lot of social services and stuff like that in the gaming industry. So you don't stay on your PC or your Steam network just to play a game. You see it on Twitter and whatever. And this basically connection of games out into the actual world, or let's say to the open web, makes it super interesting for these companies to leverage our services. And one very, very big part, maybe this is the last example, is research and academia, because their job is to analyze the world, and they need a super fast and super scalable source of truth, source of information for that. And that's exactly what we are building.
Yeah, I mean, on use cases, I mean, that may sound a little bit both, but let's say which use case, or who is using Google. Like every company, every private person, every individual out there is Googling for specific things. And Teneo has access to the entire open web, to any website, to social networks, to forums, to, as Leroy mentioned, on travel pages. So we can really access through the users, they like providing the information to us. We can access information faster and in a more live environment. So if everyone is using Google, what I'm trying to explain is that every company out there can also use Teneo. So it can be every shop, online shop selling any product, trying to find out what the people are telling in any forum, any subreddit, on X, on their private blogs. So we can forward all those companies the information. Everyone who is using social media channels, who has a website, can query information from Teneo. And to explain like one simple use case, there will be the first test use cases, but that's actually quite difficult, because there are millions of use cases out there. And as soon as we launched the chat room and then also the SDK, the people will see what power it.
Well, I think this is the very beginning in terms of the shift from golden ticket to the silver ticket and open testnet access to everyone, to the foundation of an absolutely massive ecosystem in which anybody can be rewarded for the data they contribute, which is today a game changer. We haven't seen, I think, from the beginnings of Web 2 moving towards Web 3, a system or an ecosystem in which, rewards and incentivizes users to participate in an ecosystem in which they individually are valued. So as we move towards the future, I think it's important to stress that it's time now to jump on board and mint your silver ticket, finish the checklist, which is super simple. Post your first result in the Discord. We have a massive, massive ecosystem. Through the dashboard on Teneo Protocol, you can see how many data signals you're providing, and you can share with an already massive ecosystem, what's going on, how are you contributing, and what kind of impact you're making on the future of big data. So as a thank you to the community for joining our live stream today, we are going to be pushing a promo code on screen for points rewards. So please stay tuned. We will be dropping the code soon. And to Nico and Leroy, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on this live stream and explain the intricacies of the Teneo protocol ecosystem. I think this has delivered a lot of information to the users, to the ecosystem, to the community, and answered a lot of questions. It's been a great stream, so stay tuned. We will drop a code on screen, and thanks again to Leroy and Nico for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks everyone out there who joined. The first numbers I saw look really amazing. Thousands of people listened, so thanks to all of you out there.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you everyone who has joined and gotten live online to watch the live stream. It's been fantastic, and hopefully this is the first of many streams. So I will speak to you all again soon. And Nico, Leroy, thank you so much.